All right, today we're going to figure out how to make our robot remotely controlled. We're going to use the serial monitor for it, and this will help you get through the practice problem. So, first thing we want to do is we want to make a char variable called incoming byte. So, how do you make a char variable? You start with the word char, so you'd be like char incoming byte. Make sure you spell it consistently, preferably with good naming styles, and then you can initialize it to something if you want. But yeah, I'll leave that to you. This is just a fake forward method, so it doesn't get mad at us. You can use it or not as you see fit. Later on, we'll be combining this program with our previous program, so we already have forward methods there, so don't worry about that too much. Setup, hopefully you know how to start talking to a computer. Serialed up again, probably a good call. And we're talking at 9600 bits per second. So if we've been sent a byte or more, so you remember how we check that? So if we do if serial.available is greater than 0, because that checks to see that if we got anything in the buffer, do we have any chars or any bytes waiting in line for us to read from the computer. And if so, by the way, I recommend having this if statement being around the whole thing. So if you got this if statement around the whole thing, then only if there's a byte available will it check the switch statement. Otherwise, it'll just keep doing what it was doing before. Another thing I'd strongly recommend that I didn't put in there, that I should definitely put, is a little delay. Just because I was having some issues, hardware, like everything in software doesn't necessarily translate perfectly to hardware. For some reason, just putting a little delay 1 here made it not have errors, not freeze on me. So let's wait a millisecond in between checking. Not a bad call. Anyway, so we want to make our incoming byte equal to the first available byte. So we already made our incoming byte variable. Oop, preferably spelt right. Probably not a bad idea to cast it to a char. May not be necessary, but not going to hurt anything. And do you remember how to get the first available character? It's another serial dot read. All right, and then you can just have your switch statement. So switch, we're switching based on the incoming byte. And notice if it's the case, so remember we got like case, I don't know, let's not make it cap sensitive. Actually, we're going to use WASD here. So W or case, lowercase w, we want it to move forward. Keep in mind, it'll keep running through all the cases till it hits the bottom or it hits a break. So you don't want it to immediately move forward, backward, left, right every time you hit W. So make sure you have that break statement in there. That's also why we can put case capital W and case little w, because they just run right into each other and then both end up doing the same thing. That makes it not cap sensitive. It's probably not a big problem. The whole cap sensitive thing is probably unnecessary, but whatever. And then just do that for all your other guys. So you could be like case and then do backward and break and all that business. But yeah, good ideas for making your code stable are having your everything inside this if serial.available. Like, you don't need to make your robot change what it was doing before unless it's received a new command. Oh, Another good thing to have is a default case, just to tell you if you're getting junk data coming through for some reason. So this default triggers if it doesn't fit any of the other cases. I usually put it at the end. Keep in mind, I could stick a break at the end of this, but it doesn't matter because it's gonna do this if it's not a W or not an S. Then it'll hit the default command. It'll go execute this guy. It'll print back like, hey, you put in some Q or something. What the heck's that? And then you hit the end bracket and it's all over anyway. So no need to break out of it, though you could. It won't hurt anything. All right, that's how you do it. I hope you remember how serial.read works and serial.available. These are good things. This was an interesting find that without the delay one, it had a tendency to freeze randomly. So throwing that, so it just waits 1 millisecond in between checking, probably gives it time to actually receive a character rather than checking it more than once a millisecond was a little intense. Anyway, yeah, that is all. Hope you enjoyed it.